Hey everybody, welcome. I'm a few minutes early. I'm at home today, working on setting up a little studio here. It's not done yet, but we got it. It's enough to where I can record in here. And the beast is here, and if I close the door, he scratches at the door to come in. And if we open the door to invite him in, he's worried because we've changed so much stuff in here. He didn't want to come in, so we had to settle his torn desires with a treat. So he's getting his true treat. Okay, that's it, buddy. That's it. Say hello. So that was fun. Oh, I don't know. Again, I'm sorry about the lighting in here. It's so crazy. So that was the broadside of Mr. Herschel Kitty. So fun. Let me get to where I can type. Yeah, no, he was not eating my face. That's hilarious. That was a true treat. I'm sure he'll be back up here because he's been up on this table a few times. It probably sounded like it too. He's a slurper. So that poster behind me is from an exhibit in 2011, an Alexander McQueen at the Met in New York, and it was behind the. We had a bed right here, and it was behind the headboard. So haven't quite finished everything in here, but yeah, this was a true. If you've not given these to your cat, they go nuts for him. See, now that he's in, he wants out. That's just the way of it. He'll settle down soon, I'm sure. But welcome. I hope everybody had a good week. Sorry the lighting in here is weird. I don't think I can fix it yet. But it just looks really orangey and yellowy. My hair's not really that orange. Oh well. Well, welcome everybody. Hey Catherine. Hey Kathy. Hey Phyllis. Hey Deb. Hey Cheryl. Hey Linda. Hey Melanie from Idaho. So and whoever's South Florida, Deb. Hey Deb in South Florida. Hey Michelle. Yeah, he's a funny creature. Everett and I were talking about him earlier. We really think he's probably the gentlest, most loving cat that I've had. Everett's not had very many cats. They've all been mine. And mine are all very attached to me. But Herschel's the first cat we've had together. And he really loves Everett. It's fun. He's not as attached to Everett as he is me, but it's a close second. He's such a big boy. I don't know if you could tell how big he was. He weighs right at 16 pounds, which is just a smidge heavy for him. When we got him, he was maybe a little under 14 pounds or so, maybe 12. He was very lean, very, very thin. He was an adult. He was a year old, a little over a year, but he just still had really a long, lean, kittenish body. So he's plumped out when we fed him. We finally got his food settled. I'm looking at him because he's standing at the door. He's been very bougie about his food lately. You would think he'd be happy to be fed, but no. Hello, Donna. How are you? So, I just thought I would chat with you guys tonight and show you a few things I've been working on. The thing that I've been working on at night lately, and it's been kind of bugging me. So, I will do other types of embroidery in the morning, like the gold work that I've been working on and the silk shading and stuff. And then at night, I like to do cross stitch. And for a while, I was working on my green bean sampler, which I don't have that with me tonight. And then I went on my trip to Wisconsin and spent a week with my friend. And she had taken up there her fancy finishes ornament from Trish Newen. And hers was completely stitched. And so she was doing the trim work. And I got all mine prepped with her. So I cut my pieces and did all the prep work for it. But I did not have it stitched. And so I started up there and, overly confident that I am, I'm like, I think I can finish this before we leave. I just like, I'm still stitching on it. And I had to take stuff out and I did redo it quite a bit. But I have given up like estimating when I'll be done with it because it's got a lot of stitching left to do. I did all of the so this it's just a little ornament. It'll be round, and that's why it's kind of tapered at the edges. It did have a bunch of ducks and sheep on the lawn, and I took those off and I replaced, and it had a dog. I replaced the dogs with two golden retrievers and a little black cat. And the willow tree, it didn't have a willow tree. It had a tree, the one that looks like a weeping, it's a weeping cherry tree is what it is, but it looked kind of like a cross between a palm tree and something else that I didn't know. And so I made it a weeping cherry tree because we have one of those here at home. And you can't really see the cherry buds on it. I'm gonna have to work on that. And that's a white fence that's running in front of it, which will be more pronounced when I get the sky done. And then on the top up here, it had ABC, and I thought, well, why would I do that on an ornament that's going to be in my house? And so I put my initials on it, and then really small, I put the date in there, and I put just a couple little decorative stitches. And then this tree over to the left, it had, I don't know what it was. I think maybe it was some kind of apple tree, but it had two different colors of apples. It had these peachy looking ones, and then it had some, I guess, green apples. But I made it a peach tree kind of, and I changed the birds. I've got one bluebird and one cardinal, and I made his wings kind of brown there like a cardinal, and I gave them little beaks. Um, Little beaks instead of just an X. So all of the detailed work is done. It's just these little tiny stitches for the sky. It's supposed to be over one. Mine aren't. They're kind of over two and over one because I've just been getting it done, which I would suggest to you if you're doing this. And then the grass, is a cross stitch. And I did some little blue dots there, you see. Those are gonna be blueberry bushes, and I put some down in the lawn too, but they kinda disappeared. So, I'll try to make those stand out a little more. I They may not stand out actually with the sky against them. I didn't think about that. They're a darker blue. They're the color of that blue jay, but, um, I may have to do something funny to those, and of course, I've gotta put the branches on it or the bushes, but I was waiting until I got the lawn done, and I may go back and add something more on the lawn. I'm not really sure how much of it's gonna show on the circle. So, anyway, if you're stitching this or if you're gonna stitch it and you haven't yet, change that ABC to something that means something to you. Um, I don't regret that. But be prepared because all of this stitching is a lot. And so the fence is a Montenegrin stitch, which of course you can't see. Um, there's a bunch of other specialty stitches in it, which I don't even remember now. I don't remember. And then the door is stitched over one. And that's pretty. I like that. But it's just a whole lot of stitching. And I do think the lawn's a little empty without all the ducks and the sheep, but I just can't think of a reason to put sheep on the lawn. Since it's mine. So, I may come back and put some other bushes or something out there, some flowers or something. But I was pretty pleased with that weeping cherry tree, but then the sky kinda makes it disappear. But I'll figure it out. And once it's all stitched and it's finished into this round, ornament, which is pretty straightforward to do, then that's when you start putting the trim on it, and it's pretty involved. And, I've already pre-cut it and everything. I don't have it with me, but when, well, I don't even know where that is, actually. I find that. So, yeah, my friend Erlene Lepowski and I did that in Wisconsin, because she was doing hers, and then she started stitching hers on, and it was kind of painful. So I don't know that I'll ever do it again like that. It is looking very pretty, but I will finish that one. I'm too far in now not to. So that's what I've been stitching at night mostly. I like to do something that I don't have to think too hard about. Although that one's made me I had to rip a bunch of that out today, and I was not happy about that on the sky because it got off a row and it didn't look right, and I had to take it out, and I was not happy about that. Um, the thing that I did in Knoxville a week or two ago was a little gold work class with Claire Washhauser, and I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Um, but I don't even remember typing hi all in there. I'm sure I did. That's so funny. It made me look at it. I'm like, I hope that's this week's chat. It's the life I've been living. Anyway, this is my little frog. He's not done yet, but you can see he's 3D. He's raised up off the fabric. And you can also see, so we drew him on there, and then we had to put some stuffing and stuff on there. And so we had to do a lot of padding. So this is all, oh, I can't really do it here. This is all raised up underneath. So we had to put padding down for his little thighs here and then for his body. And it was raised up pretty good. It's domed up. And then we had to go back and put some padding down around his eyes. So I still have to do some cut work around his eyes and more on his body. And I will fill in the gold where his legs and stuff are. But you can see where I drew on the fabric, his body should have actually been bigger. But my padding, where I put my padding and stuff at, he just didn't end up being bigger. And so she told us to follow the outline of the body that we made, which is what I did. And then I made his legs, his feet and stuff the same. So I've still got to finish him up. But he's coming around pretty good. He was not so this I haven't worked on him since the class, and I probably worked on him a total of 5 hours maybe. And that was learning how to do him and stuff. And so see how big this is a 10-inch hoop. You see how big that is? So I'm probably gonna make a couple more before I cut him out. And I think that's what Beth did too. I don't know if she's on. Hey, Cheryl. Thank you. I don't know if Beth is on tonight or not. There's some little beads right there on his legs too. You just can't see too well. I'll try to work on the lighting in here so you can see better. But I'll finish him before Christmas and maybe a couple more. And I think he's supposed to be like a little fob. And I think I will make him into a little scissor fob. But he was pretty affordable. And so I would say, especially since I've got enough material to probably make another one. And I know I've got other materials in my gold work supplies that I can make a couple more. I guess what I would say is that, she does sell her kits online, Claire Washhauser. I can put a link in for her. And she does video lessons. So she does teach virtually, but then you have access to the video forever. So if you want to learn a little bit about gold work, especially this 3D kind of gold work, make something that's fun, you can do something with. I think it's a great entry point. She's a good teacher. I enjoyed it. And I'll show him to you when he's done. He'll be done before Christmas for sure. I just haven't worked on him lately. Doing a few other things. So we have this week. So I'll tell you what we got in new to the shop. We got, and you guys feel free to jump in and ask me questions and stuff if you want to. We got all the new things from Brenda Gervais, and they're online and available to order. And they're beautiful. Of course, they are. We've got all of the new things from Heartstring Samplery. She's got some really pretty ones in there this time. And also from Plum Street Samplers, which are always fabulous. Teresa Koga has shipped, so hopefully it'll be here soon. I'm trying to think who else. I know Jeanette Douglas has got some stuff coming, and it takes us a little while to get it, unfortunately. But we're on auto with her, so we should be getting that stuff into. So fun stuff there. And so this week we did a little rearranging in the shop. So if you came to the shop, thank you for looking over a little bit of mess. But we took everything out of our front bay window. We had mayor was there, and we took it out and took all the stuff down except for our mannequin that's still there, and that's where our Christmas tree is going to go before we reopen this week. One of them. We have two, and then um we added a new grid wall in our main room so that we could put all of the thread kits for our Sassafras samplers up on the wall underneath the charts. And so I didn't take a picture of that, but I will do a little shop tour when we get everything decorated for Christmas. Um, and so that looks good. I was happy with that. And we have reordered the chart and the thread kits from Vicki Clayton for the green bean sampler, which I will show you next week. I should have had it here today, but I don't exactly know where it is right now. The green bean sampler, we got all the fabric in from Fiber on a Whim. So we've got 3 different fabrics that would work great for it. You can stitch on what I'm stitching on, or you can pick something else. But we've got some beautiful fabrics from Fiber on a Whim. I forget, I forget what the one that I'm stitching on is called now. It'll come to me. It'll come to me in just a few minutes and I'll tell you. And we ordered the silk kits from Vicki Clayton. We also reordered silk kits from Vicki Clayton for Feast of Friendship from Blackbird Designs because I stitched that in Vicki Clayton. I don't have it up in the shop yet, but Everett's going to make a frame for it. So I've just got to lace it up. So I'm going to try to lace it up this week. I finished it last year, I think, and I just haven't been good about getting it put out. But it's beautiful stitched with her silks. And we have some of her other silks too. They're listed online. So if you're looking for them, you can get them. And here's the other thing that I did this week. So, oh yeah, good question, Gwen. I'll get that for you guys and show it to you. I meant to bring it over here. So Gwen just asked me what fabric I was doing the pair from the Blackest and Creamery on. So I will show it to you. I'm doing it on, I think it's what was called for, which I believe is a platinum. I want to say it's a 32 count from Zweigart platinum. And then it's got a silk georgette behind it, which was extremely painful. And so I'll show you what I've got so far and I'll talk to you about it. 36 count cypress. Thank you. Thank you. Elizabeth is on. I don't know why I forget that, but so we've got that the 36 count cypress is for the green bean sampler. And it's a really beautiful linen. It's kind of a gray green. And when you see it, you'll know why I picked it. I agonized over that for a while, which is why I was late starting. There's a few other colors. Silver Fox is really pretty. That was another thing I was thinking about, but you've got choices with that. What is recommended for it is a very dark, deep green. And it's beautiful stitched on that. That just wasn't me. And so I know a bunch of other people have changed it too. But the Vicki Clayton silks are definitely a win for that. Okay, so there's that. There's the pair, which I will get up and get that in just a minute and show you what I've got and talk to you a little more about that. That was also a project that I worked on in Wisconsin. The other thing we did this week is so in 2025, for Nashville Needlework Market, we reissued our very first publication, which was AC Bluebird, and it's a Quaker sampler. And of course, I didn't bring it in here. We reissued that last year for Nashville Needlework Market. A lot of you have already stitched it or you own it. What we did with the reissue, the 2025 edition, is we took the antique back out, we flipped it over, and we re-evaluated all of the colors. And there were a couple colors that should have been called out that weren't. And so we made sure we covered all the colors, and there's one color in it that's only used for one letter of the alphabet. And we noted that for you, but we redid all the other colors. And the main reason that we did it is because we were having a lot of trouble getting the original colors that we charted. Well, we didn't chart it. A friend charted it. And then we recharted it. And so, but we used their color. It was our sampler, blah. So it was our sampler. And we had a friend working with us, and they charted it for a chapter club. And then when we issued it in a booklet, we recharted it, but we didn't redo the colorways. because we didn't want to take it out of the frame at the time. And so taking it out of the frame, we found a couple of additional colors that should have been called out. And then we noted the one color that was only there for one letter. So there are 20 colors in, and we did it in 103 silks, and we did it in Soie d'Alger, um, from a Versoix. Both of those are Versoix. And we did it in Classic Colorworks overdyed cotton. And I will tell you, it's really beautiful in Classic Colorworks overdyed cotton. And we did it in Cosmo. And so those were our 4 colorways. So we kind of changed it up some. We left DMC behind, and there's conversion charts out there for Cosmo and DMC if you want to convert it back to DMC. And we really matched it. And I mean, we matched every color in every category. We didn't just use a conversion chart. We physically matched every color from every thread group to it, to the back of the sampler, and it's beautiful. And so if you want that 2025 edition, it's out there, and we opened up all of our charts in PDF. Again, we hadn't had them open since market up until maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. But they're all open for PDF download. So if you're overseas and you want to download the chart, you can do that. And we've updated them all. And so the other thing that I did, well, we have thread kits. So we've got thread kits ready, hanging on the wall in the Classic Colorworks full kits. There's 19 there because one of them you use twice. Because it's an overdyed thread, it actually matched 2 of the colors from the back pretty well. My little buddy's getting ready to come over here, I think. I have to make sure there's nothing that can get knocked over or spilled. So we've got thread kits in the Classic Colorworks for it, full kits, and we also have the 103 fully kitted, a bunch of them. The other thing I wanted to mention to you, and you can use any neutral color fabric you want. Originally, we called for lamb's wool. That's another one that's kind of hard to get. It really looks pretty on very subtly variegated fabric. So don't get something that has huge swings and variegation in the fabric because it distracts from the Quaker motifs. But something that has some subtle change is beautiful. I pulled something for it the other day because I need to stitch the model, but I don't remember what it was. But I will tell you when I bring it next week. So you've got those 2 colorways, any fabric you want in a neutral color. It's all cross stitch except for eyelets. So you can do it on Aida if you want to. It's a beautiful chart. It's still one of the most, it is absolutely the most popular, and it's still one of our most beautiful publications. So I wanted to let you know that was out there. And then we also still have some silk kits and fabric and charts for Britomart. So I actually haven't started Britomart yet. I saw Katie just put out the 3rd lesson for it. And you don't have to do Katie's lessons. You can stitch it on your own. I'm doing Katie's lessons because I want to see what Katie's doing. There's a little head bobbing through. He's coming over now. On my Christmas shirt. Hey, Patty. He's a little nervous because we moved a bunch of stuff. So what was I saying? Oh, sorry, discombobulated. Britomart. So if you want to stitch Britomart and you haven't, you're not too late. I haven't started either. I've got a basting stitch on my fabric. Anytime I do a band sampler, I do a basting stitch, or a basting stitch really, down the left edge, my left edge, and down the middle, so that I know where each band starts and where the middle is. That's important on a band sampler because you can get off with your scroll frames and stuff. So if you want to start Britomart with me, that's on my agenda to get started before the end of the year. We'll stitch it together. I'm just looking at it as a 1-year project. I'll finish it up before the end of next year. Let's see. I've got a couple of finishes here. I'm going to show you an antique sampler tonight too that I haven't looked at, and I don't even remember what it is. It's in the box. The cool thing about getting this room set up is I've got 2 or 3 samplers. This is where I in interim when I'm moving stuff around, this has been my room to put everything, which is why it's chaos in here. Um, and so I had a couple of more than a couple, several different samplers that I had purchased that I haven't even opened the box of yet. So we'll get to see it together. This was the class that we did with Summer House Stitchworks back in the summer. I did not iron it. Apologies for that. But this is the Susquehanna Valley sampler that we did with Summer House Stitchworks. And I did modify the interior a little bit. Margaret Reed was the original stitcher. And then it said something else on there like stitch at the age of whatever, whatever. Well, I just modified that and put Susquehanna Valley, Pennsylvania. And then I put my name in 2025 because what I was really trying to capture here was an example of what they look like. And so it is a replica of an antique, but of course I've modified the center. The one thing that I don't love are these birds on these treetops. I don't like that stark, like white and blue and white and pink change. And so I may pull those out and redo them. But outside of that, I love it. It's really pretty. And the other part of the class was some little pin cushions. And so I've done those, but I didn't find those lying out. But I'm showing you that because we've got some class kits. So if you want that, I don't know that we put those online yet, but they will be online this week. And I want to say that there are not a ton of them. There might be 15 of them. 2 of them are 46 count and the rest are 32. And they're 32 so that you can do, well, let's see. Yeah, I don't know why. They're probably because it was a class and it's just easier to stitch on 32 for something like this. So it's really pretty. The colors are just beautiful. And I really enjoyed stitching it. So the class kits that Beth does are always really nice. They always come with like a laminated thread ring and then the threads and stuff for it, which are really pretty. This is actually the thread ring for Bittersweet Sentiments 2024. She's just released her 2025. I don't have it yet, but we do have for sale 2023 and 2024. And this was the 2024 one, and I really loved it. And so Bittersweet Sentiments are always fall themed from Summer House Stitchworks. Really pretty, and they come in a nice box, and you get all the content in there, and you get finishing instructions. She gives you finishing instructions too. It comes with everything you need. It comes with fabric. It comes with thread, with that really nice thread ring. And so this one came with this beautiful ribbon, and I just love it. I love this fabric. And I love this ribbon. And I'll tell you a funny story about the ribbon. So when Beth was here, I said, I love that ribbon. She goes, well, you should. I got it from you. I was like, okay. And I thought that I remembered buying this ribbon in Germany. There was a woman who had ran a factory there, Jacquard Ribbon Factory. And so Jacquard is a woven ribbon. That's what it looks like on the back. And I remember buying this ribbon from her. And so it was fun when Beth said, well, you should, because I got it from you. And so it's great that she made this really pretty kit with it. And the woman that sold me the ribbon actually gave me an antique sampler one time when I was over there. She had left the factory and she was running a little shop near Wuppertal and in Germany. And so I usually go see her every time I'm over there. And the last time I was there was 2020, right before COVID. And that is, so I'll find that and show it to you. It's really very pretty. And I thought it was just really kind and really sweet. So if you love this one, it's 2024 Bittersweet Sentiments. And so I stitched it kind of weird. I stitched it on one side of this really beautiful fabric. And the ribbon attaches in the middle. That's why I'm holding it there. I stitched it on one side because I think I'm going to make it a needle book. Because it came with this bigger piece. And I think you were meant to stitch it this way. But I quickly realized that I had enough to do it twice or to make a needle book. And so instead of making it into a pillow, I think I'm going to make it something utilitarian. and make it open up. And I might just make it a little book cover. I think that would be really beautiful too. So to make it a little book cover and just put it on a little, it's about the size of those those little books that you can those little memo books that you can buy from like Moleskin or something like that. It's about the right size for that. So I'm going to do something like that with it, which is why it's sort of like that. I'm going to jump up and I'm going to grab that pear thing before I forget. I'll be right back. Yeah, Cosmo. Thanks, Elizabeth. Oh, poor kitty. Okay. So Gwen asked me about what fabric I used for the pear project from Inspirations Magazine. Sorry, my throat's just really dry. Don't know why. Um, so it's produced. The book was produced by Inspirations Magazine. And it's called The Blackiston Creamery, and you can go out and you can download the PDF, so you don't have to buy the book. The book is probably out of print by now, but you can download the PDF because I actually did that because I couldn't find my book when I went. But it calls a Zweigart 32 count linen, which is what this is. And then it calls for a Georgette, a silk Georgette, which ignore these knots on the back. That just happens to the best of us. There's some knots on the back. This is a silk Georgette. And I ordered this. And if any of you are interested, I'll find the company I ordered it from and I can tell you where I got it. The directions say they want you to put it on a stretcher bar, which we did. And you have to tack it down, which I've already taken those tacks. By tack it down, we tack the fabric together. And I've already taken that out because I've already stitched through this. And then it had us draw the pear segments on tissue paper and stitch the tissue to the linen and the Georgette. And that's as far as I've gotten. And so we stitched the inner line is going to be the pear, and then the outer line is for the seam allowance. And they're both stitched. And so the whole thing is stitched down. It's stretched over stretcher bars and tacked. And then all of those lines are stitched down on the pears. And I'm pretty sure they had us do that. The Georgette, the silk Georgette, is really hard to handle. It is not fun. And you can see how jagged it's cut and stuff. It's just a pain in the butt. I'm just going to be honest. And Beth Ellicott did hers differently. She's done it several times. She did not use the Georgette, and you don't have to. You can put interfacing behind it, but the Georgette, we really wanted to do it like the instructions said because it's beautiful green. I think you can see it a little bit through the fabric. It gives it a green tint, and I love that. And then the Georgette's going to keep the stuffing in there. And Georgette is traditionally used by seamstresses and tailors for very fine haute couture embroidery kind of things. And so they will line it with silk Georgette. And that it's just a finer finish. But you don't have to do that. You can do it you can keep the stuffing in the pear just with interfacing or something like that. And so, yeah, so to answer your question, Gwen, I use the called for platinum counted fabric, linen at 32 count, I'm pretty sure. And then I actually ordered the Georgette that it called for. And I had to substitute. I haven't done the stitching yet. My friend Arlene has started stitching hers. And so what you do is you tear off a portion at a time of each pear and you start to stitch. You take this tissue off, but not all of it. You take the tissue off and you start to stitch. And then as you get that one done, then you take the tissue off the others. That's also a professional embroidery trick to cover your work with tissue so that you are not getting your fabric dirty with your hands. Thanks, Deb. I'm glad you like the chair. These are Everett's chairs. I don't really like them, but he does. They're kind of craftsman-ish, and so we keep them. So um, I'll tell him that you liked it. Um, so if you're doing, and Deb probably knows this too with Japanese embroidery, but anytime you're doing embroidery, surface embroidery, where you've got your hands on top of your fabric a lot, you can kind of just, you don't have to stitch it to it. You can kind of just lay tissue over it and then just keep the part that you're stitching on open, and it'll keep it clean and keep you from getting it dirty. This is stitched this way to give some manageability to that Georgette. I know it is because it's difficult. Um, and so the Georgette, I think it's made this way too, because as you cut out the pairs, you've got this outer line stitch so that the Georgette is still going to be attached to each segment with the stitching. I think there's a method to this madness, and it is madness. But having said all of that, I know that Beth Ellicott did not do the Georgette thing. I think she might have put interfacing on it after she stitched it in the end, just to keep the stuffing in. Would have to ask her about it, but she modified it, and hers are beautiful. She's finished. I've seen, I think, two different finished pairs, and they're gorgeous. And she did some different colors too. So, can it be stitched directly on the piece of green linen? It can be. And that's kind of what Beth did. So she stitched hers on, I think, a piece of red linen, and it's beautiful. And one of them was red, and there might be some others. But yeah, you can stitch it on green linen. And then, before you stuff it, to give it some durability, you might want to put some interfacing on the back of it, just to keep the stuffing in it, depending on what you stuff it with, and to give it some stiffness to it for the finishing. That's probably what I would do. Um, so that's the lovely pair. You're welcome. I'm glad to know you're doing it with us, Gwen. So one of the things I had to do when I was straightening this room up a little bit, which there's a long way to go, was I had all my projects from earlier in the year from my Jackie Duplessis classes were in here, and they were just kind of in here. And so I had to go through and separate those. And I was thinking about you, Gwen, in the stitch group that you guys have going down there, because I have a lot of Jackie projects I'd sure like to get done and finished. So that was fun for me to see them. Most of my stuff is upstairs in my loft. I've got a room up there that's kind of a little library, craft room kind of thing, and it's not perfectly functioning either. So I've got a lot of stuff up there too I got to get through. But all of my projects are boxed and labeled up there, and I've got quite a few Jackie things that I want to finish. So bravo to you and your stitch group, Gwen, for working on them. Oh, so Deb DeCrane has finished the very first Black Swans project from 2024, which was, it was an antique that I own called 80, I think it's 1747. I get 1741 and 1747 mixed up because I know I have another one on whichever year that one's not. I feel like it's 1747. Yeah, yeah, Elizabeth's stuff's still in boxes too. Well, so Deb has finished hers, and it's at the framer, and Avalon, a local stitcher here, finished hers and brought it in this week, and I got to see it in person, and it was just breathtaking. So, at some point in the future, for those of you who didn't get to come to any of those classes, we did it in 2024, and we did a small encore in 2025 this year. We won't be doing that one again, but we probably will have kits and charts available at some point in the future. It's so beautiful. We invested too much time in it not to release it, but we won't release it for another little while. So, but if you start to see those get finished up and your heart is singing for it, don't despair. There's probably a chance sometime in the future that you'll have it. I had to remind myself what the project for this year was. I couldn't even remember. I knew it was a Mexican sampler, but I really had no memory of what it looked like. Carmen's in my mind, and Carmen is calling to me, which I found the fabric that I cut for that too. So Carmen was taught here and it was taught at the attic. And I don't know if it got taught anywhere else, but it's a beautiful Spanish sampler. It's really, in person, the antique was one of the top 10 most beautiful antiques I've ever seen. It was just gorgeous. Um, and so several people and myself decided that we didn't want to stitch it on 45 count because that's what the model was stitched on. So we jumped over to a 37 count, and it's really beautiful. And the 37 count is what the smalls for Carmen were stitched on, legacy linen. So if any of you are interested who took Carmen, and I know I had a couple people, I know Cindy Earnhardt and maybe one other person wanted to switch over, let me know because several of us have changed the fabric out. Debbie Moore, I don't know if she's on tonight, but she has started stitching hers. I haven't started mine yet. But I will do. And I saw that Kirsten Ackerman has been, she's made it a long way on 80, 1740, whatever. And hers is looking beautiful too. So that's exciting. So lots of good stuff coming out of the Sassy Jacks. So I've got other things I could show you, but I thought we'd open this together. I did just open the end of it right before I got logged on, just so that I didn't have to struggle with that. So I bought this from a friend in the UK, Erna, and I really don't remember what it is. Now, I did buy one from her recently that is going to be a blessing sampler for next year. It's very sweet and small, and I think it'll be a perfect little blessing sampler. So as soon as I get that one, I'll chart it and put it out there. And I think we'll put it out there first in PDF so you guys can get it right away. And then if you want it printed, we can do that too. So this is how it's come. It's just lots and lots of bubble wrap. Wow. I have to be honest with you, I totally had no memory of this whatsoever. And it's beautiful. So it's a panel from I don't know. So I have another panel that I bought from this same friend Erna that is squirrels. So it's a silk shading panel with birds and strawberries and flowers. It's just gorgeous. So I don't know if my friend Zena Casman is watching or will ever see this, but I think Zena's going to help us with a project on the silk shading squirrels, and I may have to give her this one too. This one will be stunning. So not your typical antique, but silk shading panel in a beautiful, beautiful frame. And it's been conserved. It has an old string on the back, but you can tell this is new-ish. And so it says on here, done by Elizabeth Nicholson, 1705. That's what it says on the bottom. Handwritten on there. And it looks 1700s to me. Wow. I'm glad we opened it together. 1757. Okay. I'm glad we opened it together. That was for AD. Isn't it really pretty? Look at the strawberries. Like, I don't know. Look at that one. That little strawberry. How pretty. And the birds. This is museum quality. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this in a museum. I love it. And so I don't know if this was a bigger piece that got cut apart or if this was it. This is very worthy of being it. And it's cool that it's written on there like that, the provenance. I will at some point shine a light up in there. I'm not going to open this one because I don't think we need to. I think we can, I don't know. It's actually I won't. I can tell that it's in pretty fragile shape, to be honest. It's kind of coming apart down here. I don't know if you can see it. And so the silk that it's stitched on is shattering. And the embroidery is just coming loose from the silk. So I definitely won't be taking this out of its conservation frame. It's an old frame. It's gorgeous. And it's been conserved. It's coming apart up here too. You probably won't be able to see it. But the embroidery is very thick and heavy, and it's just separating. The silk is just so ancient that it's just shattering. I don't know if it's been on display or not. The colors do look a little faded. You can tell that the flowers are pink and yellow and red, and the birds are just gorgeous, green and blue. But there are some patterns too, 17th century colorways, and this could definitely be interpreted. And we could figure out what we think the colors are without disturbing it. If we took the back off this, it would just fall apart. So that's not going to happen. Not by my hands, anyway. It looks very well centered to me. I think maybe there's a possibility that this is what it was meant to be. And there were some cabinets and stuff that had panels like this in it. And so it could have been in one of those cabinets, or it could have just, like I say, it could have just been on its own. I don't know. I haven't done any research or anything. You saw I didn't even remember ordering it. I'll see if I can see when it came. 24. So it's not been with me too long. June 11th of 24. So I love it. How pretty. So pretty. And you're getting pretty good color on it to be able to see it. Probably won't put this one in the shop because of the lights. I think it'll damage it. So we'll see if we can't get something made from it, take some good pictures, and see if we can't reproduce it in some way. The stitching on the stem is shockingly small. This brown stem that runs through there, I can't even tell what that is. I'm going to have to get a magnifier and see if that's couched work or if that's stitched work. Some of it is stitched, I can see, but I almost think that the brown stem is like super tiny little pearl. Gimp, super tiny little gimp couched down, but I can't tell without some heavier magnification. Well, so I'm glad you were here with me to open it. I like it. And thank you, Erna, for getting it to us. We'll do something fun with that. Any questions or anything you want to talk to me about, ask me about? The other things I have here, you've already seen. The unicorn. You saw it already. I haven't done any more work on that. This is the Loving Letter. I don't remember the last time I showed you this. I took it with me to Wisconsin, but I didn't do any more work on it. I felt like I showed it to you recently. This, I love this. I really want to finish it. So this is actually, yeah, it's not silk. It's actually like a twill, like a calico kind of fabric. This is me playing down here. Yeah, I feel like you've seen this recently. I don't remember. This was a Zena piece that I took in from the Royal School of Needlework in 2024. And then the unicorn was one of my Scotland pieces that I took with Kate Barlow. And it just had a little shower cap over it. And this is what I was talking about, putting tissue over it so that your hands aren't constantly touching. I tore mine off like a lot. I should have left more of it on there, but I wanted to be able to get to everything. So I haven't touched this since Scotland. I have been working on my thistle, but I didn't bring it in today. It's at the shop. Um, so that's all my stuff. What's going on at the shop this week? Or Friday fives this past week, but we will put two new ones out. We'll probably do it on, I'll probably release it on Tuesday, and I'll do two this week. And I can say that they're going to be good ones. And so you'll want to um, be buckled up for that and looking for that. So we'll have two this week that'll be for this Friday. And then next week will be not this week that we're coming into, but the week after that will be Black Friday. And so we are open on Black Friday and we are open that Saturday. So if you're in the local area and you want to come shop with us, we will be open. But we're going to be doing some really fun things on Black Friday. And you will know about it. We'll be sending you some emails and newsletters out. We'll probably do it probably I'd say on Thursday, not Thursday because that's Thanksgiving. We'll probably send it out on Wednesday before Thanksgiving so that you're prepared and ready for Friday. I don't think we'll run out of anything, but we've got some pretty good sales and stuff coming through for you. We're going to share our wealth a little bit so that we don't have to count everything. I'm watching my beast. He's now laid on his back. They're so funny. When they're in, they want out. When they're out, they want in. That's just the life of a cat. I was hoping he'd come and visit with you guys because I know most of you haven't seen him since COVID, really, but no such luck. So maybe next time. And what can I remember? We'll be pretty much normal schedule through December until we get to Christmas. And so we're going to be open actually half of a day on Christmas Eve. We'll be open half of the day. And then we will be closed until January the 2nd. And we close down so that we can do inventory and all that stuff. And we've got tons of inventory. It'll take us a while to count everything. So we'll be closed for that week between Christmas and New Year's. If you are going to be in town and you really, really want to come and shop, do reach out to me and let me know, and we can probably make that happen. Reach out to me by email. That's the best way. Send us an email. And hey, Kendra, and we will try to make some availability for you because we'll be there. We'll just be counting. But the rest of December should be pretty normal schedule for us. Trying to think. We are going to be relaunching our Linen Club because I know some of you were in that, but we've restructured it. We're ready to do it now. And the one that we're going to come out with, we're going to come out with two. One of them is the one that we had for December last year. So it's kind of a cool, like Christmassy fabric. It's not red. It's Dove. I'll just tell you what it is. It's Dove from Week Style Works on a Zweigart base. And it's really beautiful, kind of a blue green, and it lends itself perfectly to like stitching a Christmas ornament. As well as Halloween, as well as, some other samplers and stuff. So we will be putting that out there for you to order. And you can just order it. And then when it's gone, it's gone. And we also will be putting a second one out there. And so our Linen Club is the Week Style Works with a Zweigart base Linen Club. And what we do is it's a fat quarter of whatever count you want. And then we give you a swatch. We actually cut swatches and we put them on a swatch ring for you. And so the first time you participate, but you can get a ring anytime. You just put in the comments you need a ring. And then you add your swatches to that so that you know what they look like. And then you also get a skein of Week Style Works thread, which I really like. It's a great thread. They're a North Carolina company. The cool thing about the Week Style Works thread is it's a continuous skein. It's not pre-cut into 1 yard sections. So if you like to stitch with 24 inches, which is what I usually stitch with, you can easily cut it down to that. Or if you're using it for, some kind of stitch that requires a lot of thread, you can use a really long length. And there are some stitches that do like some Rhodes stitches and stuff like that. and some other things that you usually associate with needlepoint have need a long thread. Um, and so you can cut it to the length that you want it, which I like. And they have beautiful colors. So each time you order, you get a full fat quarter, you get a swatch, and you get a thread, and then you get a discount code that's good for a month out, and you can reorder that same color in a different count. So you don't have to worry about, oh, what if I wanted to try this in a 36, but I ordered, a 32 or whatever. You can just jump over. You can use that code anytime for that color for 30 days. So it's a pretty good thing, and it's a really great price. It's an excellent price for all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be relaunching that this month, and you can pick up last year's and then get started for this year. And we will be doing it. We've got the next 3 already ordered and in and ready to go. So we will be doing that on a pretty regular basis. We're going to shoot for every other month. And if we get it going smooth enough, we'll do it every month. But every other month is the plan, 6 times a year, bi-monthly. So that will be that. And then Jack's Stash is going to come back. So we're really excited about that. We have a lot of stuff purchased for that and ready to go. Not sure if we'll bring it in for Christmas, probably, because that way you'll get it, it can be a little Christmas gift to yourself. And then we've got some cool little things that we're putting together to go with gift cards, because I know a lot of people want gift cards. So you can get whatever you want. But the person that gives you something wants to give you something sometimes too. So we've put some things together where they can get you something that we know you'll love. And put that with their gift card, and then they have something to physically give you, as well as your gift card that you can use online or in person, either way. So we'll be rolling that stuff out during our Black Friday event too. So it'll be a lot of fun. And we're finalizing class schedule for next year. So we know we've got Linda Vincent coming up. She had some issues with supplies, so tariffs and everything else, So we pushed her online class for the British Schoolgirl Satchel out to the summer, and we're settling on a date for that. So that'll be in the summer. We've got 2 soirees for next year. The winter and the spring. And the spring one will be a Sesqui stitch. And that's the last of our virtual soirees for that eight sampler series. And then we'll switch over and we'll do something fun. We are looking at doing an in-person stitch next year, which might be a soiree, or we might brand it differently. Originally, our soiree, that's what it was. It was for 2 years. You came and you sat down and you stitched, and then during COVID, we took it virtual. And we don't want to lose that virtual. We'll keep doing that. We might do a hybrid event, but we do want to launch a come to the mountains, come to Asheville and hang out and sit and stitch with us without any instructions. So we talked about that last week, and I appreciated your feedback on that. So we're working on the location for that. And we did conclude recently this week that we will start looking for a builder to build our little classroom building. So sometime in the spring, we hope to kick that off and get our little classroom building going on the same property. We've looked high and low for something that we could just use that's already there, and we just haven't found the right thing in the right place for the right money. And so the right place is right behind the shop, and the right thing, when we can make it the right thing and the right money, can make it the right money if we build it ourselves. So I think that's what we're going to do. It won't be huge. I think we'll aim to, 40 to 50 people. That's what we would do, because we won't do a learning class where you're learning something that's bigger than like 30 people ever. I don't think. I just don't think it's conducive to the instructor spending enough time with you. Now, if it's just to hang out and stitch, yeah, we can do that. That's no problem. But in the meantime, we're looking at space somewhere else to do that little retreat with, to have you come and hang out with us and sit and stitch. So, or join virtually if that's your choice, if that's what you want to do. So that's on the agenda for next year. Romy and Simona are coming back in September, which will be great. Um, we've got Jackie Duplessis in the spring in May, and we've got Sharon Hufstetler, who is from Gastonia, who is Thy Needles Work. She's the designer for them, and she's got a beautiful little Scottish roll up, a little sampler roll up, and she's done a great job putting it together to teach it. Excuse me. Very excited about that. So we'll be finalizing all that stuff and getting it out to you. Some of the people, like, we usually do like Jeanette Douglas and Hands on Design and Summer House Stitchwork. Summer House is usually every year. I think we're going virtual with her for a year. They're moving or something. They've got something going on. Um, and then the other folks, this is the off year for them. So we won't be having them this year, but we'll bring them back the next year. But we're looking at some new people too. So we want to not do too many classes. We want to kind of complement that with opportunities to finish some projects that we've all got. But we do want to give you a chance to learn something new when we can. Oh, and we've got Amy Minton. Let me not forget that, to do a virtual class for us. And so we just need to finalize her date, but you're going to love it. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then we are very excited because we do get our own room at Nashville next year. I can't think I mentioned that. I think I mentioned it last week. I can't remember if I knew about it then or not. I think I did. And so we're pretty stoked about that. So we are busy getting all of our little roundup of all of our releases ready. So that's fun too. And it could be, I might let you guys vote on something. So coming up soon, maybe in early December at one of these events, I will give you a chance to give me feedback. I'll give you a couple of choices and let you pick which one we do. Anyway, it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that. Okay. Well, it's 9:02. I appreciate you hanging out with me at home. It's good to be at home and doing this. That means I don't have to drive, pack everything up and drive back home. It's pretty nice just to be here and walk into the other room and do it. I enjoy that. I'll keep getting this set up for us, so it's a nice little studio. And if you've got any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to provide you any answers. I do want to do a little demo coming up soon on metallic thread. I keep getting that question in the shop over and over about metallic threads and how to stitch with those. And so I know I've talked about it before, but I'll probably try to get my little camera set up and do a little demo of that for you coming up soon too. So have a great week. I know everybody's getting excited about the holiday, and I hope you all enjoy. Looking forward to the holidays, and I know I am. And I will see you again next week. Have a good week. Thank you. Bye.